Justice for Gotham! Oh, I did a flip. I did it.
You did multiple flips, to be honest.
Yeah, see, very impressive. Whoa! Wait, let me do the thing. Smixusia. Ah. No!
Choke me like you hate me, but you love me low-key. Wanna date me when you fuck me, touch me with the lights off and my...
Okay, well, hello everyone. Welcome to a new episode of podcast named Vtubertalk. Today my guest is Mrs. FindingANest. Hello, Mrs.
Hello.
And
Thank you so much for having me.
and the first question for everyone is, how are you doing today, Mrs.?
I'm doing good. I've been working on a lot of different projects. That's usually what I do. My days usually contain of like waking up, work, eat, sleep, and repeat. So it's usually just like working and making like bigger projects or planning bigger things, pretty much. So, honestly, it's been pretty good, honestly.
You working from home?
Yes, pretty much. Like content creation is actually my full-time job at the moment. So this is like all I do pretty much.
Okay. So we can move to first question if you want. And
Yes.
my first question for you is, why you choose an avatar for streaming?
Right. So it all started way back. So like when I started back in 2014, because that's when I like really started with like everything. I was only a YouTuber. I didn't do anything else. But I always had the idea of what if you have this YouTuber, but instead of having it up being a real person, what if you bring a character or this animated character into the real world and have them do all the things that a normal person would do, but maybe be a little bit more funny because a character can do a little bit more things than a normal person maybe wouldn't usually do. So definitely the idea was always there, but it didn't really I didn't really grasp the concept, or it didn't really exist back then. So it just like always was in the back of my mind. And eventually when I started doing like videos and stuff, that's when I had like a model. And then I realized, wait a minute, I could actually use this for VTubing and stuff. And that's how it really originated and stuff, pretty much. So yeah.
Okay. And I guess you choose a 3D avatar for VR chat, right?
Yes, it's pretty much a 3D model, but originally I started off with a PNG, pretty much. I originally had a PNG that I had. And it was just a PNG originally. Then I had a PNG that opened its mouth when it was talking. This was like new things. I didn't know how VTubing works. So I just thought, like, what if you have a model that can blink, but also have its mouth opened when it's talking? Like, just 3 images, but back then it felt so modern. I'm just like, wow, this is the future. I'm getting there slowly. So pretty much originally I always thought of like I wanted like a 2D model, but the price of those are can be very high, pretty much. So
Yeah, very high. Do you know Mrs. Yoklesh? Yotzi Yoklesh.
not fully sure.
She's a VTuber but artist, and she does she do art or avatars, and the prices are very high. I think it's about $1,000 or $2,000, and that's horrible for our small creators, you know.
Oh yeah, like getting the entry. I'm still amazed by like VTubers that somehow managed to like they haven't even started streaming and they already like putting this massive amount of money into a model. It's just like that is like the biggest gamble. I would never dare to do something like that. But yeah, no, like I fully understand why it costs so much. I mean, the work of like getting the art and then the work of rigging the model is such a new, but also such a delicate, like complex work, especially like really high-end ones. So it definitely makes sense, but it is very expensive at times, for the most part. But that's the difference between like 2D and 3D. Because like with 3D, I mean, I guess kinda, but like with 2D, you kind of have to learn how to draw, if that makes sense. If you want to learn how to make your model, with 3D, you can already use like already provided assets and models or bases, and you can learn the softwares to mix and mash them together in order to create something that you could use. Which is more customizable depending on how deep you want to go with it, which is why I personally also feel so comfortable and so um safe wearing like a 3D model instead of like a 2D model, pretty much.
But I saw rigging one time. I guess, and it's a very difficult job. This is I don't get it.
The 3D modeling or
No,
2D
rigging
model?
of 2D avatar.
Oh yeah, it
So,
is.
sorry, I don't specificate it.
Yeah, no.
Rigging 2D avatar is very difficult. It's pixel by pixel, moving pixel by pixel, and it's very difficult.
Yeah, like I remember way back when I was seeing like League of Legends, like you know you have like a drawing and then you just have like you know the wind moving the picture, you know, living wallpapers. Back then, it's basically the same thing, but in this case you can actually control it. But like it is crazy how much work it goes into something like that. And I have friends who have experience in doing that and just seeing how it's made and stuff. It's insane how much like every single movement like matters and everything. It's insane.
But,
So
but
definitely.
in 3D models is a little bit easier because if you know modeling in, it's very easier than rigging 2D model.
Oh yeah, definitely. I feel like 3D modeling, at least since I use Unity, I feel like now it feels a lot easier to be like, all right, I want my model to look like this. All right, I have these assets. I know how to get the physics the way I want them to. I know how to get the shading, the texturing. I know my like enough to do exactly what I imagine to do, unless it goes into like some animation territory. But usually, just like the model itself, like for me, it feels like second nature. I know what I want and I just do it, kind of thing. But yeah, no, it is very, it is. I feel like it is easier to get into as well. Because I feel like there's more knowledge around how to make a 3D model versus a 2D model as well.
If you talk about appearances, tell me who did the appearances, yeah, and probably how it cost and who represented and why you choose these appearances.
Like the way I look. So honestly, when I originally made this model, if anything, I was so against using this for anything VTubing. This was when I made this. That's when I first got into VR chat, and I didn't even know what VR chat was. I just like, all right. I went from this other VR platform now to VR chat. I'm like, oh well, let's see what this is, because this platform is shutting down. I went to VR chat, and then eventually, within the first week, I got to learn how to make my model. And what I wanted to do was to try to like replicate how like the way I see myself and how I feel like deep inside, and try to put that into into the model that I wanted to use to represent myself in VR. And that's why I was obviously really worried to like show this on streams or something like that, because you literally like showing your true self to everyone, and obviously people judge it. It's a bit more personal and stuff. So definitely, I went for something that feels more me. Well, the fox ears, I don't know. It just happened to be there. The ears, they came in the package, I guess. But definitely, just the general look and feel of the model, pretty much. It just represents me, like deep down as a person, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
That's why.
And who did it? You did it by yourself, I guess. That model.
No, actually. Originally, I met this person like already a week into VR. I was spending a lot of time there, and I didn't even grasp the concept of you can make your own model. What? So I didn't have any Unity knowledge. I always wanted to learn Unity to make games or anything like that, but I got to meet this person, and this person basically taught me everything there is to know about modeling and textures, shading, like everything you can imagine, how to put the like clothes together. And it was like a trial and it was suffering on a constant basis, trying to like sit there days just making one simple outfit and stuff like that. It was pretty much like it was never self-taught, but it was definitely I had this person to always guide me all the way through with the model, pretty much. So that's how I got all my knowledge. Here and there, I picked up some tips from others, but in general, this person taught me most, if not everything I know, and from there, I expanded a little bit more of how I wanna use that knowledge, pretty much, and that's how I learned, pretty much.
If you want to know, you spent on the stream, only in the stream, you spent 369 hours in VR chat.
Oh God! Well, that's even surprisingly, I've been in like I think even a week ago, I just reached like 5,000 hours in
Wow.
VR chat,
Wow.
and it is just like no, it's been like I don't even think I think it's been like a bit over like 2 years, and it's in the span of like 2 years, I have spent over 5,000 hours in this thing. It is insane. It's like no, my life has gone. It's just
like a small kiddo in Counter-Strike or League of Legends.
I know, right? And the crazy part is like it's not like I can leave. I feel confident to leave. No, I'm stuck here forever. Pretty much.
Yeah, when
I
I bought my first VR headset, so I was in VR chat so long hours. I don't know, half days and days on the shooting ranges and.
Oh, man.
So I know how you feel it. I know how you feel it.
Yeah. What year was that, and what headset did you have actually?
I have Oculus Quest 2 and I bought it in 2021, I guess, or 2020. I don't remember very well, sorry.
Yeah.
And I played here only Beat Saber and Pistol Whip and some free games.
Oh yeah! Oh my God! Like literally, Beat Saber was the main reason why I wanted the VR headset. So me and my brother were just like, all right, we need to get this headset, but I don't know how, we don't like back then headsets cost a lot of money, so we just like saved together to get like this headset, and we got it for Beat Saber and stuff, and we played so much of it. Eventually, it's like I took over the headset and. Well, now here I am, pretty much.
A little fun fact, if you don't know, Beat Saber is a Czech game.
A Czech game?
From Czech Republic, where I live.
What? No way! That's insane. Oh my
I
goodness.
didn't know that too when I bought it.
What? It's generally one of my favorite games in
Yeah,
VR.
mine too, mine too. From only from a VR.
Yeah,
Okay,
pretty much.
okay. Back to your avatar. For last question is, did it cost something?
The model did cost. I mean, you get like I mean everything costs everything at a price, as they say. The base costs a certain amount of money. It's not insane because it's not custom made for me. It is like basically someone makes a model made for originally for VR chat, but it is somewhat free to customize and free to use on streams and stuff like that. So basically what I do is, I buy the models, I put them in Unity, I change a lot of the textures, I customize, different clothing, different hairs. Sometimes I even go as far as to customize, like maybe I'll have like 3 or 4 different models and just like mix them into one singular avatar. So yes, basically every like clothing, like this is one, like the jacket is one, these twin tails are one, the hair is a whole model, the body is one model. It's like so everything does cost, but it's like it's nowhere near as much as if you were to buy like a customly made one, because this one I get the freedom of like customizing it heavily, and if I want to I can just buy different clothing that fits this model without having to do any blender work. It just works, and that's the beauty of it, because I can customize it so heavily and stuff. So I like per model I can't really say how much it costs, but it would be like maybe um I don't know, like $50 per model in total, 50, 70?
That's not too
Depends.
much. That's not too much.
Yeah. Depends on how much, but generally, I think that's like the peak, how much it would cost, I think.
This is something like next question. How many models in all time you have, and don't count change dress or
Yeah, so it would be model-wise. I think when I first started VTubing, like actually VTubing, I originally, before I came out, and stuff, and publicly and stuff, I originally had a Catboy avatar. That's the original model, so very different take on it. That was the PNG era, and then I moved over to this model. So if we're not counting all the different, like the actual models I would use like as my main image, I would honestly say that I've only used 2 pretty much. Because
have you that? Or have you old models?
I do have my old models. I fixed, like I always fix up like the body, or like change the skin tone and stuff like that, or add different hairstyles or clothing. But in general, I still have like the first model that I owned pretty much.
Send me that after podcast. I in post production give it here.
Yes.
Get it here, and tell me something. Okay, so something about your history, your personal success and your personal failures. So I have something about you from history. How we talk about it. You start in August 2020, only few streams, and here is a very very long time, I guess a year, a blind spot where you're not streaming, and you start streaming in, I don't know, October November 2021, what I see on tracker. Yeah, and so tell me your success and your what do you see like your success and your failures?
Mostly it's because like I've been in like I said before, I've been in doing content creation since 2014. So I've really had a lot of times to like. I didn't always have the name FindingANest. I think most people that have done like content for like I think it's almost gonna be 10 years, but yeah, like have done it for a while. Usually like change up their stuff. So, like, I originally started off making Minecraft and Roblox videos, like Let's Plays and stuff. At one point, I did Minecraft animations as well. I was in the Minecraft animator community. Um, the one thing I do, like, none of that really took off or anything. It was more like a small hobby. But the one thing that really took off at one point was like reaction videos and stuff. I it was like the kind of thing where it's like, ah, yes, 50,000 views, easy, you know. It worked, but it's like it was fun in the beginning, but and I was feeling it at the, some kind of success, as you can say. But the more you make, like, it was just me, like, sitting down, turning on the camera, and just watching a video, doing the haha funnies, um it was like it was okay at first. When you see numbers, you're like, oh, I gotta do more. But there was a point where it's like I would make these reaction videos, they would get thousands of views, and then I would make like a high production, like full series or like let's play with role play and everything, or videos that would take me like a week to make, and it wouldn't even get over 100 views or like over 500, anything like that. So like getting like 10,000 versus 100 when in the stuff you actually care about, it was very discouraging back then. And me, I was like young. I didn't really grasp the whole internet things. I was way too young for what I was doing. So eventually that was like my downfall of that, and that's when what pretty much killed the entire like thingy pretty much. So time went by, I streamed casually, I sometimes made some videos. I helped out other people and channels here and there. Didn't really do much myself, but I helped people around. And eventually I just I said I think this is good. I think this is where I leave it. I've done everything I can imagine. Back then, I thought, I think I'm good. I'm gonna focus on my studies. I'm gonna become a film producer, and I'm gonna achieve my dreams. Fast forward a few years, here we are. And then at that point, I think I was gonna study. I was gonna study film. I was gonna study television. And I pretty much was, I started studying, and I was still using VR, but I didn't have my full body gear and stuff back then. And I refused to do anything. I refuse to do videos if the gear is not there, and I didn't have full body, so I didn't even start. I'm just like, no. And eventually I got my full body, and then I started making videos, and I think already after like the fourth video, the first video just exploded in VR chat like numbers. So like back then, like that was like over 100,000 views on TikTok. Like already by the fourth video, like it basically just like skyrocketed everything else I was doing. And at that point, I started almost posting daily. So the numbers were just like increasing like so fast, and that's like how it just just went, like it just kept going forward and stuff. And that's when like so many opportunities came, and I got to meet so many talented creators and all that. There was a point where I did this video, which was the Kahoot one, though. I think a lot of people who probably have seen me for a while probably know this one Kahoot video where I basically... There's this song Kahoot, basically. It's a weird trend, but yeah, basically it was just like, me when the Kahoot music starts playing, and it's just like me jamming to the Kahoot song. Basically, like that one did like over 1 million. I think it was like over 2 million. And it's just like, don't get me wrong, it did like it did perform well, but there was such an overwhelming amount of like hatred that not only did it stay on TikTok, but it also moved over to streams. So I often had to regularly keep track of like the chat in case like someone wrote like some paragraph. He was like there was this one time someone just wrote a whole paragraph to like you know a little bit of a threat. So it was just like, oh, okay, and then he's like gone. That usually tend to happen often, but then it calmed down. Videos were taken down, but then brought up again. But in general, it was like a very scary moment. But at the same time, we got through it, and it just
Yeah,
like it ended up
if I
going
remember,
fine.
you have three parts of Kahoot songs.
I
I
think it
get.
was 4 or 5. I
B-
milked that
b-
like
b-
shrimp
but
so much.
I think on the Instagram is only three, but
Oh, is it?
I don't see your TikTok. I didn't see your
Right.
TikTok, and yeah, that's true. Your Kahoot song has 1 million views on Instagram and maybe on TikTok too. I
Did I
guess.
have it on Instagram?
And yeah, I know why. I know why, because Kahoot song is very very densely, and
Yeah.
mm,
Yeah, it was like I grew up with Kahoot in school and stuff, and I played it with family and stuff. So for me, it was just like, oh yes, Kahoot. Obviously, everyone knows Kahoot.
yeah,
Apparently, not
yeah.
a whole lot of people recognized it, and did recognize it, but also didn't, and it just like
No,
was this
I
whole
don't
thing.
know its name Kahoot. When I find you, I know that song, but I didn't know it's named Kahoot.
Ah, fair enough, fair enough. Yeah.
And tell me, what can people find or look forward on your streams?
Mostly a lot of unhinged moments, just missing the most out of pocket things. But usually it's a lot of variety games. I play a lot of different indie games. Like last stream, we even played this new indie game that just came out. It was like an hour long, and stuff. So we play a lot of different variety games, from like indie games to like whole story-based games. My favorite tends to be like the story-based games, but sometimes story-based games can be so boring. Sometimes there's been times where I'm just like, nah, I think this is good. I think the story it only gets so good from here. It's pretty much. But I think my favorite one has definitely been the God of War franchise.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
play.
that's true.
Ah,
Because
yeah.
you have 42 hours on Ragnarok, and somewhere was God of 3,
Oh
and
yeah.
you have many games here. I don't know, Astroneer, Resident Evil, Elden Ring, Legend of Zelda, GTA 5, Dead by Daylight, Sekiro, and so on. Baldur's Gate, Village, Biohazard, Roblox. Evil Within. You played the Evil Within 1? Only 1, not 2?
Even within, I did play 2, but it got. I feel like the first one was like it was good, but it was very confusing. The second one, I think I played it too close to one to the other, to the point where it's like I am just lost. What even is going on in this game?
Yeah,
So I think I
yeah.
I ended up just dropping. I may pick it up because I usually do, but like I feel like it was so I was already confused from the first game. Then hopping onto the second game, I felt like okay, I think we're good here for now.
When I play one, the Evil Within 1, it's very confusing from start. And when you play the Evil Within 2, you can get used to it with this bullshit what happened here, yeah. And in Evil Within 1, it's very very psychedelic and psychedelic and psycho happens here.
Oh yeah, that's what the game is mainly about. Cause cause the beauty of like this, like all the streams, and the reason why I also do such variety on my streams is that I like growing up, like I had my Nintendo console,
Mm-hmm.
and that's about. I played like the same games over and over again, and I mainly only spent time playing Minecraft or Roblox, so I never really got to try out these franchises or anything,
Mm-hmm.
and I really didn't have anything to bounce back and forth between like, oh, have you heard of this new game that's coming out, or oh, do you want to come over and like play this game? Because I think my only like the only time I remember was this my neighborhood friend who had like a PlayStation and like a Wii console, and that's how I got to try out new games. So streams have been like a nice way to like, all right, so what have I missed in the past 20 years of my lifespan? Pretty much to like catch up on. And it's been interesting to see like some games I'm like, whoa, this is like, how did I miss out on this? And some other I'm just like, I could have spent my life without without knowing about this type thing. But for the most part, it's very like I get to try out a lot of games that I would never try out myself because I don't play games off stream. When I'm off stream, I'm usually working on
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
something or at least just like relaxing or like calming down, or watching a movie or series. But usually it's never video games. Unless it's been Genshin, but yes. But yeah.
Yeah, I have it too. I play games only on the stream. I sometimes I play games off stream, and watching or listening some videos on YouTube. Only listening. So I don't wanna see it. I only listening. So I play game with that.
Yeah. Usually the videos I watch on YouTube are these long 1 to 3 hour essay type videos. They're like, oh, the psychology behind Kratos or stuff like that. Like those long documentary type videos. Like that's what I love watching. So usually like there was a point where I did watch like short form content, like very fast-paced content, but I think over time I guess with age it's just like you wanna just slow down and have like long stuff, like long form content more.
So,
Pretty much.
tell me, how can people get you on the stream? I mean, how you see persons in the chat. For example, favorite debates, talkings about teams, and
I think definitely usually like the topics I usually like go on and on about like for a while, if that's what you mean. It tends to be like if it's VR stuff or any Unity stuff, I always tend to like go on and on about like, oh, like this headset. I think I even did a tier list at one point about which headsets was like the best one. But like usually like techie stuff is definitely like a side passion that I always had. Never really, I can't really buy all the tech in the world, but I definitely always had the passion for tech and like how it's progressing and all that stuff. And that's definitely something that I definitely love talking about. But I feel like a lot of times it feels like I'm rambling a lot, and then just like, yeah, long story short, it is alright, type thing.
Okay. This is a question for in general for all of you. You have the same. This is a starting questions for all of you, the same. And now I have questions only for you. So tell me about your Instagram and your TikTok. I wanna know where you get ideas for videos and how long you do a single clip.
Right. So, my God.
Sorry when I stop you. I know what you will say, because you said in your Q&A you do a single clip half or quarter
Right.
hour, I guess.
The research, I see.
Yeah, so I looking for your Q&A for a question because I don't want the same question like in Q&A, your Q&A, you know.
Mm.
So tell me, where do you get ideas for your clips?
Right. So the ideas for the clips, I think when I originally started, it was like from different creators I saw, and I'm like, I want to do that. I can do that easy. But definitely, it was a lot, and I mean, oh, way too many. It feels like you like like if you spend like 20 hours scrolling through TikTok, I think you can like 10 minutes worth of good stuff you could actually use. It's definitely like a rabbit hole in itself, but definitely scrolling basically daily and almost hourly on like on TikTok and trying to find the latest trends. Usually, what I rely on is heavily is on trends. So that's usually how like the biggest videos have always been through trends. Um, Definitely like recognize. Okay, so this one hasn't blown up yet, but how if it does, how can this blow up? And basically predict them and post them before they actually like just as that they're about to blow up. Um, so definitely hours of scrolling. Some I used to do because this is hilarious. I need to do this. This is just too funny. But a lot of the big ones usually have been like strategically scrolled. Like even in TikTok, I don't just like scroll, and if I like the video or if it's something I would watch, even then I just keep scrolling. I'm just like, okay, this is not for my channel. I just keep scrolling. So I like strategically like scroll until I see something that would fit something that I can make. And then and then I save it, and then I keep scrolling, and then I look through the ones I have, and then I'm like, okay, this one we're gonna do, this one we're gonna do, that one, this one we can skip, but then we're gonna do this one pretty much. And that's how it usually goes. Hours of scrolling and saving the best ones.
And do you record it alone or someone help you with that?
Looking back at my footage, most of the ones have been all alone. The few times where I do like, there's times where I do with friends and stuff, and that's when I get mostly not really camera help, but usually just like an extra body, or let's say I want me here and then my friend here, or we want to like interact in a way. That's when I would need someone else, like an extra actor in the scene, instead of going through the hassle of green screening. Plus, it's generally much more fun working with friends than doing things on your own. Because there's times where like you hop on, you're ready to record, everything is set for you, and you're like, nah.
Nah.
Nah. I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, pretty much. So definitely.
And what program do you use for, I don't know, produce the video, cutting, or everything about it?
Like for videos and such,
Or videos or shorts or whatever.
Right. So what I use is usually always VR chat. That's my main tool of like everything. Like everything is done in VR chat. It has a camera system, so you can obviously use the camera and you place it, and you just do it the same way you would in real life. But I do all the acting in VR chat, pick the world, and then I record using OBS. And then I edit using DaVinci Resolve 15, I think I'm using right now.
Because DaVinci is for free, only program for free, I guess, right?
Originally, yes, but I ended up paying a license for that, for the one, because there was a point where it's like I've been using the software for like how long now? Like years. And there was a point where it's like, all right, I kind of can do
Mhm.
this with enough. Like I can actually like get it now, pretty much. So that's when I got it, pretty much.
Okay, and how long do you do a single clip?
The recordings are usually like 30 to 45 minutes, but they tend to take an hour to 2 hours to edit it down, pretty
Wow.
much.
Wow. It's a long
Speedrun.
time. Speedrun. Okay, when I do some clips, I do 10 or 50 seconds, minutes only.
Yeah,
When I
yeah.
have clips from, I don't know, Twitch or something, or I record something by myself, I edit it only 10 or 15 minutes because when it's longer, I don't do that because I'm a lazy.
Yeah, fair. Like the thing is, like even if it's just a simple video, the basic format that I always have in everything I have is it has to have subtitles,
Mhm,
it has to have motion blur,
mhm.
and it has to have sharpening
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and color correction. So it's four things that always have to be there, and each shot have to be like adjusted accordingly, so it always look the absolute best, pretty
Mhm.
much.
Yeah, I do only some get into it, some music or some cuts, and that's all for me. Maybe sometimes maybe over dubbing because my mic is not good for no mic. I record it on the phone, and after that I dubbing again for my mic, because a mic on the phone is not good.
Oh yeah.
So tell me about your VR headset. VR headset.
Right.
What are you use and how long are you use your headset?
Right. So I right now what I use nowadays, I am using the Meta Quest Pro. I still can't get used to saying Meta, but the Meta Quest Pro.
Mhm.
Basically the reason for that is because this has the eye tracking, so I can actually track my eyes, and
Mhm.
the mouth tracking, so you can track my face. Basically, I can always be as lively and humanly alive as humanly possible. Together with the Valve Knuckles, which
Mhm.
basically makes it so I can actually
Yeah,
move
yeah.
my fingers and do all the
Yeah,
stuff
I saw that because you reveal it, I guess, a few minutes ago.
Mm-mm.
Um, so how much it cost this headset?
But if because I bought a lot of headset. This one in particular cost me because I bought it on eBay. It is the sketchiest place to buy anything on. It
Hmm.
works. It's good. But my goodness, it feels like I'm doing some very sketchy things buying anything. And the box it came in was like it was barely a box by the time it arrived. And then it was stuck in some office in some place in the country for like a month. It was stuck there, but it cost me $700 pretty much instead
Okay.
of the $1,000 I think that it costs normally. Or I think it's more, but I think it's like $1,000
Hmm.
instead for the Quest Pro. Uh so I got it a lot cheaper, but I have tested the original Vive. I've tested the Vive Pro. I've had a Google Cardboard, the ones you stick your phone inside. I had a Oculus Rift,
Hmm.
a Oculus Rift S, a Valve Index, a Quest 2, and now a Quest Pro.
Okay.
So
That's
so
a lot of VR headsets.
yeah, you would think, what do you need? There was at one point where like my dad was starting to question, like, don't you already have a headset? I'm like, yes.
Hmm.
Yes, I do. But yeah, it's I've always been so fascinated in this like concept of VR and everything. So that was always with me. And now that I can literally make it my full-time job, kind of, I get the opportunity to try on so many different headsets and actually use it on a very constant basis. Uh, in like, yeah, it's just most of them I do get secondhand. I think the Valve Index was the only one I did not get secondhand. But besides that, all of them like sometimes even half price off or like you know, a lot cheaper than what you would usually get. But usually I don't get them at full price. I always get them like through like some Facebook Marketplace or eBay or something like that in order to get them a lot cheaper instead of just buying like spending that extra on.
Yeah, in my country,
the
Facebook Marketplace is the horrible marketplace ever.
Really? That's it. Yeah, I've heard so many bad things about the Facebook Marketplace, but for me, like here in Sweden, like Facebook Marketplace is like it's just seamless. Like I always go to the locations to pick the stuff up, and I'm like, okay, give them like a whole essay of questions, and then like sometimes I even get to test them and stuff. And that's usually like it tends to be very safe. And like when people here say, oh yeah, it's been used, someone has used it like 2-3 times, got bored. I'm like, all right, it's just gonna sit there on the shelf for like a year and it's just gonna collect dust. That's like the most. It like used here is like tested and then like not even bothered returning it to the store type thing. So it's that's why I dare to do like secondhand over here, pretty much.
That's cool. That's cool because our Facebook Marketplace is horrible. Means the people are not talkative and scamming, and So you when you sometime go to Czechia, don't buy anything on Facebook Marketplace.
Oh, good to know that.
Okay, tell me the most interesting part, and it's your VR chat. Something about the VR chat, because I saw you play games in VR chat, and tell me something about it because I don't get it. Games in VR chat.
Yeah. So VRChat is a very like community-driven platform, pretty much. Like it's basically the Roblox, but for people who have the luckiness to have a VR headset, basically. So like people can, it's all made so like you can upload whatever you want, and I really do mean whatever you want. So obviously a lot of times people want to share those like experiences with usually like it starts with friends. And then eventually it's like, what if I like make it public so everyone can try it out? And so I think at some point people started to make like story-driven games in VR chat because it's all Unity at the end of the day. Like it's just like VR chat is just like the platform, and you can just build whatever you want within certain limitations of like worlds you can just upload, and people can just try out and like support you on Patreon or something like that. But yeah, that's kind of like people. I think it started first as like a funny thing that people can share experience with friends with, and then it just became culture to like make short test games. A lot of times it's just tests. A lot of times like people have a passion for making games, so they just make it for VR chat. And that's kind of how it just starts with it. Like most games are like not like full, like big experience. There's few games that are like super high quality and like could be games on their own. But usually like most games tend to be like demos type thing. And it's become like culture to like do games, but a lot of times it can be difficult to find them. Like there's a selective amount that are like top popular ones, but eventually there's not all too many, so it comes to a point where like even at streams it's like, I don't really have any new games to try out and anything like that. So definitely, but most of the time people spend time in the most common ones, which is technically like games you've already seen, like in other games, like Murder Mystery or like Among Us or Uno, or games you see on literally. Oh, sorry.
No.
Like games you literally see on every other platform, but instead you have it in VR, and I think that's kind of the appeal of it. It's like, oh, I could play this on desktop, but I have a more closer
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
experience with someone in a 3D space.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's a little bit crustier at sometimes in quality, but I see you still get that closeness and experience with someone if you're in VR, pretty much. And I think that's the appeal of it.
What I want to know here is a I don't know, single games, so single player games. That's
Mm.
that's the yeah, because I found only games like Dead by Daylight, Murderer and Hiders, and but I didn't find something like single player games.
There are a few, but I feel like that's the one thing that I wish VRChat could do a little bit better. There is a games category, but obviously the top list is obviously always going to be the ones you bring your friends, which is an instance with like 8 people, 8 people, and obviously it's gonna get higher in the list since a lot of people are gonna do go for those. There are really good single player experiences but because it's virtual, you can always bring someone in. But you can't. There are really good like single player experiences. They're just like not like well uh, placed in a sense of like for someone who maybe doesn't play VR chat, it might be really difficult to find those because it's not like in your face or in a nice category. It's all hidden. That's the main problem, pretty much.
Do you some VR chat talks with, I don't know, you sit on the couch and talk with the chat, or sit with the friends
Uh,
and talk about themes? Did you
mm,
do you do something like that?
yes, usually, I mean, most of the VR chat category on Twitch tends to be either people dancing, or just like talking to chat, in VR chat, just like placing the camera like this, pretty much, and just like talking, and pretty much, it's basically like VR chat is literally the just chatting, but for people with VR headsets. That's literally what it is. Sometimes people play games, but in general, like the VR chat is basically the just chatting, but for 3D models. Pretty much most of the times. Pretty much.
And how often do you do VR chat streams?
Honestly, I feel like I'm not doing them enough because, like, considering my whole, career, I guess you could say, is based on like VR and like the 3D model. I would technically do more VR, but I don't know why I don't. I think the main issue is like having things to talk about for like 5 hours, and then the lack of sometimes games that you can try out and stuff. You can try out to explore different worlds and to change the environment, but it becomes also a thing of like, all right, I want to try out different games and such to try, but there's not that many when you played almost everything in VR chat, pretty much.
I have a question about how the VR chat how do VR chat solve nudity problems? If you upload some naked avatar or something, how VR chat solve this or handle it?
So, my goodness, we're getting into some deep VR chat questions. The beauty of VR chat is that you can upload literally anything, which also comes with the problem of moderation. There is really not a way, because like VR chat doesn't scan through your avatar, because then you would literally have to look through the textures in order to see something, or something like the files, and obviously people would not appreciate that if they happen to do something like that. Even something like there was some update to checking up on like the microphones and whatever, and people lost their minds, pretty much. But I think the main problem, the main only way to like that VRChat can moderate is if like you have a model and either you make it public or it's private and you happen to go naked and do some weird shenanigans on a public, people can report either you or the avatar, and that's how with enough, probably through enough reports, it gets taken down. But the problem is that most of the time it just takes the model down, and obviously you having the files, you can always re-upload it. So it helps, especially if a model is spread around, but it's usually there are some open models that you can like find here and there. If you happen to just scatter around, someone may probably have some naked model. But usually the main problem is that most people have their naked models in their private privated in their own account, which makes it basically almost impossible. Like someone could run around with a naked model and you wouldn't even know unless they go naked, like stuff like that. So it's like there's sadly not a way with such an open platform to really moderate something like that.
Okay, so I guess here is something like rules about uploading avatars, I guess. Yeah. No?
Yeah, so like
Yeah.
the idea is basically like you can upload like models that contain not so safe stuff. But the main thing is basically the main thing and encouraged thing is keep that in private. Don't go to publics and do some stuff.
Yeah.
Keep that. Yeah, that stuff is private. There's a time and place for that. Don't do it in a public where anyone could be there, type thing. That's literally like the main thing. Because if you can't control it, the best thing you can do is to be like, please don't, do this type thing.
Okay.
Realistically.
Okay. Now, tell me about your how you say loss of nightmares. I saw that, and I wanna ask you, where is more episodes of that?
Yeah. So the thing is, so it was like when it was originally made. I was studying film. That was like when I was like studying with TikTok and everything. I was studying, and it was like we had our last project, and we even got a budget that we could spend.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was like a final exam type project, and it was basically solo. You could go and pay in teams to double your budget, but I'm just like, I could, but then I'll have to do. Everyone else was doing IRL stuff, and me using my VR headset. I'm just like, if I'm gonna do something, I want to make sure that this thing can be like produced and be like out there, so like people can see it. If I do something in studies, it's gonna be made and it's never gonna see the light of day. I wanted to make sure that this thing could be seen by everyone. So we had like 3 to 2 weeks to make this.
Once more, 3 and 4 weeks to made.
Yeah. Oh, make it. Like produce it and everything like premiere it. Because the idea was we were gonna premiere it on a theater, like a full theater. And we did get a warning to be like, hey, this is our final thing. This is what we're gonna do. So if you already want to start it, you can start it. And I was trying to think of something, and I could just not think of anything. And then when we got the task to do it, I'm just like, damn it. I have not come up with the idea, and so I went into panic mode to like, all right, so what can we do? I cannot take this old idea that I had like I don't know 7 years ago. That's like old stuff. So I came up with, okay, so I have the character Nest, and it has its own little VTuber lore. What if I take that and make it into a pilot episode that potentially could become something bigger? And basically, that's what we did. I went into a call with my friend Raven. We started writing and going through everything. And Deka, my friend, was also helping with writing and stuff. So we were all like going through the entire script as fast as possible. We had like I think less than a week to write the whole script. I already thankfully had most of the lore that had happened already like in my head. I already knew what had happened. It's just like, okay, so how do we get this in a script? So we did that in less than a week, and then I contacted also my friends who also do TikTok to be like, hey, fellas, I know this is sudden, but we're cooking up something massive, the biggest in history. And they were all like, I mean, pretty much. And so we started making like I think we had like 3 days of just recording. And we recorded for like 16 to 10 hours each and every single day,
Okay.
pretty much. I think 16 to 10 hours for those past like every single day of those 3 days. It was just panic mode, everything.
I saw behind the scenes.
Oh yeah. So basically, and then basically I got sick during the recording. So like I got super sick, but because this whole thing had to be done, I couldn't stop. So I kept pushing even when I got sick. And my God, it was like, yeah. By the time I need to do my voice lines, it was like, God, this is over. I can't do it. And sadly, like I ended up editing it, and by the time it was somewhat done, it was already too late. The premiere had already started. Like everyone already brought their movies and played it on a theater, and I was too sick and just did not manage to finish the episode. So I was like crying. I was crying my eyes out, thinking, because like this was the dream to make something this big, and and especially playing it on a big theater screen with audio and everything,
Yeah.
and then not having it play, it was just heart shattering. Um, but I got better. I ended up, recovering, and then ended up finishing up the episode. And we premiered it on YouTube, and it was just like one of the most insane, like heartwarming moments of my life, because like even after the premiere, everyone was just messaging me, congratulating me, and being like, "Oh, this was such a cool project," and then it was big and stuff.
And you have only one episode, or next episode is only one?
It's right now. There's only one episode out, but there's also other videos related to the story. So technically, there's some sprinkled here and there. But in general, yes, there's only one episode. But we already are working on a lot more episodes already. The main problem has been the technical limitation of the episodes, because like there's gonna be fighting scenes, and we're talking like fighting scenes that are almost like, have you seen like Attack on Titan or Jujutsu Kaisen?
Yeah.
Something like that.
No,
Yeah, like that.
Never see that, but I know that.
Yeah, they're like like it's big, like extreme animations of like fighting, and that's the kind of goal I'm aiming for. So obviously it is like, how do you do this with like in VR? You kind of can't, and so that's been my main limitation why I haven't really worked on it, because I just haven't been able to figure out a way to do it. But we're slowly getting there, and it's like we're already like fixing up a lot of the technical aspects, and very soon we're actually starting to work on the episodes. And I do want to make sure that like at least the story is fully finished by the time we start writing the script, and by the time we release the first episode, we already like are working on the episode 4. So no, sorry, the episode 3. So definitely everything is already being worked on. It's just a very slow process, pretty much.
Yeah,
But definitely something I want to get already done before the end of the year. At least two episodes, pretty much.
Okay. And explain me one thing. I wanna know that bracelet. You know what you have on your wrist.
Ah, I have the
No, no,
glorious
no, no,
jewelry.
no,
Yes.
no, no, no. I want to know why you have it in your song. It's something like an Easter egg, or
In this song. Ah, yes, because it is. Yes, it is an Easter egg, but it's also connected to Loss of Nightmares. That's why it is there. So yes, they
okay.
are connected, but also not at the same time. It's just that small end segment is connected to Loss of Nightmares, and there's going to be more and more Easter eggs on everything I do. It's just gonna be hidden here and there, and sometimes it will be obvious, sometimes it will be more like subtle. But in general, yes, everything I have done is connected to some degree.
That project is
Pretty much.
more bigger than I thought.
Oh yeah, Lost in Nightmares is an overly ambitious project, and it's been a dream of mine to make something this big since since I was like small, pretty much, just like a small kid. Pretty much.
Okay. So I guess that's all of this. About the Loss of Nightmares. So tell me something about, if I told it, something about your song. Sheesh.
Yeah, stuck inside.
Stuck inside. That's a pretty cool song. When I found it, I listening every day in the car when I in the job. So tell me how how you make it, how long you make it, and who wrote that lyrics. I mean
So
lyrics.
right. So the song is a cover of the song "Stuck Inside." It was originally made by Black Griffin and Basic or Bazik, and they featured the Living Tombstone on the original, and also the voice actor for the Freddy from the games. And basically, I think I listened to that song barely a week when it came, like released, and I just the moment I heard it, I mean, like this is the song that we're gonna make a cover of. I am smelling I can smell that this is it. Pretty much, like that's the thing. Like usually when I make projects, I am sure I want to make this, and I instantly like contacted Risky, a good friend of mine who also has done like a lot of covers before and just like is a music producer. And I contacted Risky to be like, is it possible to make a cover song of this? And we looked into it, and yes, we were already ready to make it. So the lyrics and everything are pretty much like it's pretty much the same as the original. But then there was another cover by CG5 that came out, and then we had to like, oh god, it was just also every project I seem to notice is always panic mode. But yes, so we started working on that song, and while that was happening, I contacted a friend who is an artist to make the cover image and the thumbnail for for the for the song. And originally, the image that you see on the cover, that's originally how I kind of wanted like the character to look like more robotic. But in the end, we had like less than a month to make this basically, because we basically started working on it on the November 25th, and it premiered on the December 26th. So it was basically a month between, or 3 weeks to make this.
Okay.
So we just like Risky is super fast with making stuff. So we started already instantly working on it. I made my vocals, I sent it in, and while Risky was mixing all the things, I already had contacted my friends to hop on VR and record the music video. But the problem with the music video is that I didn't really have that much of an idea of what I wanted to do with the music video. So it was a lot more like at least the music video part was more inspired by the original, but mixing a little bit of myself in there. So the recording was a lot simpler than any other project, like the big ones I've done. It was more like the editing that was the difficult part about it, pretty much. Because it used a lot of like more effects and stuff. Even
Yeah.
like Springtrap. We even had like a friend called Suited Devil. They basically made the Unity things where like when the spring locks clamp up, there's blood splatter and there's blood on the ground and all that stuff. All the technical things. It was up to Suited to make. Well, we were working on everything else, and it was just like problem after problem. Like, if anything, that is the one project where like nothing ever worked. Like, Unity just updated, so we had to update it and nothing worked. Like, everything was being so rushed, it was just panic. But like the song in itself was done like already like into two weeks into the making, because we basically worked on it all the time, like full on 100%. But the music video was one of those things where it's like everything was failing and everything was like not working, so it was constantly like, okay, let's hop on. Oh, we can't because this doesn't work, and then it's just like, god. So the premiere was gonna premiere earlier, but we ended up delaying it more and more, but eventually ended up coming out, and everything worked out in the end, pretty much. But it was definitely one of those things where it's like nothing when working on this worked at all, pretty much. It was just one of those scary experiences where it's like, god, I don't know what to do, and we have like this deadline and stuff.
That's a normal when you do something new.
Oh yeah,
You scare about everything.
Oh yeah. Because like right now, it is one of the biggest like long form projects I've ever done, and like the biggest one too. Like it got like 12,000 like views on YouTube, and like a lot of thousands of listeners on Spotify and stuff. So like. It was like the scariest, but also the coolest experience ever getting this produced.
And you recorded in how you say, studio?
Pretty much in the same as my room. I mean, I made my room into a full-on studio. I have floor padding. I have the foam on the walls and stuff like that. I have an XLR microphone. Like, I have like the full studio setup pretty much for any situation.
So you recorded and send it to editing, I guess.
Yes, pretty much. I pretty much only sang when it came to the audio side of things. I only sang, and then Risky did everything else. All the technical things.
Okay, that's cool. So I get to down to the description your song and your Loss of Nightmares on YouTube. So because the song is very cool and very very densely whatever. So. I really love this. I really love this because I'm not a fan of Five Nights at Freddy's like you. I saw only a movie, but I never play games. So I know that games. I saw it in YouTube, but I love that franchise of Five Nights at Freddy's, and I never played it. And this song is very cool, very cool. So tell me something about your can we go to the next, or
yeah, sure, yes.
Yeah, or wanna say something about the song, your experience with the song?
No, I think that's most of it, at least.
Okay, so tell me something about your merch. Have you some merch or planned it?
I have been planning the idea of merch for like the longest time, pretty much. I've been wanting to because there's nothing cool and just being like, ah, yes, I have my own coffee mug with my own face on it.
Yeah, I
But
need it.
like,
I asking for it because I need your mug and pillow.
yeah, it's always been an idea, and I think I even way back before I did VTubing stuff, I did technically did do merch, but that was very short lived. Nowadays, it's like if I want to do something, I want to make sure it's not just just not just something that has my logo or just my face. I want to make sure that this is something people would want to wear outside, like
Like
maybe have like
hoodies
maybe
or
something that
shirts.
has like something maybe something very like subtle that you would wear like anywhere like a job or um like going outside or whatever, something that looks nice and slick. But I also want maybe something that is very like, oh, this is, and it's obvious that it's me type thing. So maybe two things. But the main thing is that it costs to pay the, because I've been looking into artists, and the ones I do, you pay for, the art, which costs, and then you look at the licensing cost, which cost a lot of the times double of the normal price. Pretty much, which is a lot of, which basically means that um, like I don't mind like losing money on it, but but at the same time, it's like I can't go like bankrupt making merch as well. Like as long as like I can lose money, but like I can't go bankrupt. And usually like I want to make like at least 3 or 4 different kinds of like images, so that make sure that the merch lineup looks really like appealing and could like be there for a good moment like while and stuff. So definitely in my mind, but it's mainly like the initial cost of starting it, and looking into the company that could do it exactly the way I wanted to. So definitely looking into that, but at the moment sadly there's none.
Okay. We are almost at the end. You are too fast for me.
Oh.
So tell me something about your where is it? Your collaborations. Means with the other VTubers or other VTubers. Do you some collaborations or you streaming by yourself or only by yourself?
Right. So most of my collaborations have always been through TikTok and stuff, and TikTok creators. I do really want to do more collabs with more VTubers. Cause like I'm very much in like my own circle. That's kind of how I've always run things. But I've never really branched out because I don't really, as funny as it may sound, like I don't actually use social media. I don't really use my Instagram, or I don't post anything on Twitter or interact with people, which obviously makes it that I'm very like closed off. But I would love to like collab more with like VTubers and make like big ideas. Like I want to do like game shows when like, oh, all these VTubers do this and stuff like that, or something really cool. I want to collab more with VTubers. But for the most part, it's been very much like in my own circle with like my friends and stuff, where we just like together, just like, all right, so we want to do a stream. Do we have any cool games we want to try out? And then we just like go off and do whatever with these. But in terms of like getting to know more VTubers, I would love to. It's just that I'm very I'm very shy, and then also like I don't really know how to reach out to people because I don't really know how social media works. I know how to post, and I know I love analytics. I love like analyzing numbers and checking trends and stuff like that. But getting to know people, that is like, this is there's no algorithm for this. What is it? It's very different, which is why it's like being like on this podcast and being like on this episode is such a wonderful experience, because it's like something that it's not just like another stream, or it's not just another TikTok or anything. It is something that it's something very unique, and it's like something that is like something I would not usually do, but something that I'm very willing to try out new things and do. But being here is such an insane experience, and it's super fun. Pretty much. That's why
Okay,
it's like
thank you,
it's
thank
so
you.
nice to be here.
Okay, okay. Tell me. We are almost end. So, tell me something about your chat. Have you some title for your chat?
Like the name for my chat, pretty much.
Your or name, title or name, yeah, whatever.
Ah, right. So, funny enough, I don't even know. I still don't even know. It's just a lot of things just happen out of nowhere. Like, but usually I call my chat nesties, or you say Chad. But usually I say like, "Oh, my nesties, rise up because
Yes,
we're going to war." But yeah, usually it's nesties. That's literally what we call it on Discord as well. Um, but that's basically, and usually I don't even know, like for some reason I'm called the peanut butter fox a lot of the times, and the reason for that is that a friend of mine originally like looked at my hair, and because back then it was like orange, now it's like pink stripes, but back then it was like I had orange stripes, and so um like my friend literally, oh, peanut butter, and then used like they would like chomp on it, peanut, and that's when the whole peanut butter fox came to life, pretty much. So it started like that, and it just eventually became a thing, and then I started saying it on stream, and now everyone says it, pretty much. So yeah, definitely nesties is definitely what I usually call them.
And collaborating. Do you collaborating with your chat? I don't know. Means have you played with your chat Gartic phone or some games or something?
I think there's not a lot of times when I do. I think games that I definitely, what was it? We have done games. But usually it's been something like what is it called? It's that game where you like people can like click write play in the chat, and they can like, and they get like a
Marbles on the
ball.
stream.
Yeah, that game. That game is so fun because that means that like you don't have to have like a computer to play the game. You can just be on chat and you see your name. And it's always so fun to play. I don't know why, but that is like my favorite for some reason.
Okay. So, and the last question is the most difficult question ever, and this is your stream schedule.
Oh.
Oh shit! Oh no!
Oh,
no.
nice. Stream schedule. Honestly, my stream schedule's been so inconsistent. Like it really depends. Cause like some weeks I want to take it a little bit easier. Some weeks I want to focus more on other side thingies. Or sometimes I just want to touch grass a little bit more. So definitely it depends on how much I either want to focus on other things versus how much do I want to focus on streams and stuff. Like right now we have a schedule. We post like sometime before the next week starts, and that's usually, it's posted, and it's like, hey, this is the days where we stream, and it says like the games we're gonna be streaming and at what time and stuff. And that's usually how schedules are up. Sometimes I either forget or I just like don't stream enough to really make it a post. Because like I don't really like posting something or announcing something if it's something so small. Like let's say I stream like maybe once during the week. I feel like nah, I don't need to announce this because like so it's such a random like thing, or just I don't like bothering people that much, so that's why like pinging and stuff is very like to minimum. um but yeah, no, streams are very consistent. I try to always aim for like three times a week, usually. Sometimes I go for 4, sometimes I go for 5, but usually it's like at least 3 times a week where I do stream and stuff.
No,
Pretty
just
much.
like mine. When I don't wanna streaming, I don't streaming.
Yeah,
Well,
that's the thing. Like, if you don't have a schedule, you're like, I don't feel like streaming. Whatever, I just don't stream. No, if you have a schedule, it's like it doesn't matter if you're tired. You're streaming,
yeah,
pretty
yeah,
much.
yeah. Yeah,
Mm.
I have a schedule, but I don't do that by like schedule because sometimes I come out from work or a job and I'm tired very tired and
Oh, yeah.
so I can streaming because it's very salty stream and boring stream and so I passed it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So
that's usually why like VR chat streams tend to be a little bit more rare because if you're like sitting down and doing your chatting or just playing a game, you're sitting down, but when you like put on the VR gear, your face is being tracked, your fingers are being tracked, your entire body is being tracked, so obviously you end up moving a lot more and doing a lot more physical, and if when standing for like
yeah.
5 hours or moving around, it tends to be very, very exhausting. So that's usually when like having others like around you or talking to people makes it a lot easier. But in general, it is. Yeah, VR chat tends to be a lot more exhausting, but it's so fun because I get to always like when I started, I always tend to be like, oh, I have this cool thing, like, oh, I have this new outfit, or I got this new idea, or I have this new cool thing I've been like just found and stuff, and I can like showcase that and stuff. Meanwhile, I like a model normally, you're very limited to movements. And in general, it takes somehow more time to make a model use on normal streams than what it takes to make a model you can like use your full body on. It's very bizarre, but yes, somehow it is.
Okay, Nesty, that's all from me. So, wanna say something for the end?
mm, uh, 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 good question. This might be the hardest one yet. I don't think I have anything really. Just like it's my only thing would be thank you so much for inviting me to this podcast. It's
No,
been super fun being
no,
here.
I thank you because you are my first guest who is not my friend. so,
Yeah.
so I didn't know you answer me and accept this. So
Yeah.
I thank you very much and thank you many thankful for your mods because your mods help me with the questions for you and okay, that's all for us. So everything you have down below, like a song, like Loss of Nightmares, TikTok, IG from Mrs. Nesty, and I guess that's all. Thank you very much if you see this. So see you next time. Bye.
Bye bye.
Like me some, but she bite like Timmy Trask. My bitch's bitch, gon' bring her bitch, that shit a triple threat. Niggas gawking all the doors and come and stepping on some necks. You trying to snake your fucking brothers, but see you get no respect.